Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So Thanksgiving is literally around the corner, right? It's literally next week. It's literally a couple of days away, and Christmas is a couple of weeks away, 5 weeks away. And this video is gonna free somebody in this holiday season, okay? Because the holidays can be a very joyful time, right, for those of us who have family, but the holiday can also be like a really stressful time for those of us who have lots of relatives and perhaps do not have like the best relationship with them. This time of the year can be kind of stressful for us. So in this one, I wanted to free somebody, if the person want to be freed, because you can't free anybody without their consent. Okay, now listen, y'all problems, okay, because I don't have this problem, okay, is that y'all don't know the difference between relatives and family, okay? What I need you to do this holiday season is get yourself a paper, okay? You want to get yourself a paper. Now let me see if y'all can see this. Can y'all see this? And you want to put a line in the middle, and then you want to write family, and then you want to write relative, and then you want to write names, okay? This is going to change your life. It's going to transform your life and your relationship to the holiday season. You're going to save a lot of energy, child, and also money, okay, if you can do this. Listen, I'm gonna tell you that a lot of us have been brainwashed, in my opinion. We are told ever since we are very, very young children, kids, that family is everything, right? Blood is thicker than water, etc., etc. There are so many sayings to express the fact that family should come above all else, and I do not disagree. I do think that family is paramount, but I think that one thing that is not talked about often enough is who is actually family. What is actually family, right? Because in my book, family is anybody who loves you unconditionally, right? My sister is a whole Caucasian woman, okay? Hey Anyesu, I know you're watching, okay? Now, it's not because you are related to someone by blood, okay, merely related to them by blood, that they are actually your family. And I think that the confusion for many of us, or rather many of you guys, again, I don't have this problem, comes from there, okay? A lot of you guys are breaking your back, okay, going through financial abuse. Yes, I said it, for people who couldn't care less, okay, for people who wouldn't spit on you guys if you were on fire. I'm sorry, I know this is harsh, but it is the truth, okay? You don't have to spend money that you don't have in order to please people who don't care about you. Learn how to say no, and also understand that no is a complete sentence. It is not your job to pay for your sister's children, okay? If your sister has 3-4 kids, different baby fathers, and none of them is taking care of their kids, that's not your business, because you're the only person in your family who's been to college, okay? If your dad is in and out of jail, okay, or addicted to alcohol, crack, whatever his thing is, it is not your job to bail him out every time that he needs money. It's not your job to let him stay on your couch so he can harass your children. It is not your job to answer his call from jail that you're gonna have to pay for if you live in America, and also send him money to buy cigarettes or whatever he wants. That's not your job. Now I just want to say, I'm just throwing scenarios at the wall. It's just semantics. Whatever your situation is, your personal situation, and I'm just throwing out examples. So just take the one that stick to your own personal story, or that is similar to it, right? But my point is, here is what family doesn't do, okay? Family doesn't molest each other, okay? So if you have an uncle, a cousin, hell, a brother who is a molester, he ain't your family. That's just not what family does. The other day I was so upset, you guys, and trigger warning, by the way, sorry, hearing this woman say that her brother molested her daughter, but she couldn't send him to jail because he was her brother. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, if he thought of you as his sister, he would have molested your daughter. So I mean, if he has so little regard for the fact that y'all share the same blood, so little regard for that, and molest your girl, then why would you show concern around taking him to court, like taking him to jail? Like, listen, crazy, okay? But this is how people are brainwashed. She talked about how her mother told her if she did that, she would never to speak to her again, and she was not welcome in her mother's funeral if she sent her brother to jail, right? So this is how relatives, people with whom we share the same blood, brainwash us into, you know, submission, basically, you know, into doing what they want, into giving them what they want, into avoiding consequences of their actions in this situation, etc., etc. And I want to tell you, you don't have to go through that. You don't have to put up with it, okay? Thanksgiving, like I said, is a couple of days away, and if you have any, and I mean any, anxiety around going, do not go, okay? Send your family a text, okay, if you all have a group chat, a WhatsApp group or whatever, and say, you know what, this year I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to make it, you know, work is very, very hectic, there's a lot to do, I have a lot of work, I'm not going to be able to make it, okay? And then sit your ass home, sit your behind home, you know, get your turkey leg, okay, if you can't eat a whole turkey, you know, get you a nice gift maybe, put on a candle, and, you know, have dinner for one. And of course, you may, you know, feel a bit emotional, you may cry or something, but at least, you know, you're gonna be peaceful, okay? At least you're not gonna have to explain to an auntie who, by the way, hasn't, you know, she doesn't look like she missed a meal in 20 years why you still haven't lost the weight, okay? Because listen, some of these aunties be crazy. Some of them married to whole sexual molester asking you why you're single and telling you they're praying for you, okay? Meanwhile, they have 3 daughters who never been married, hell, never even been in a long-term relationship. How about you pray for them, okay? If this is the prayer you're praying for your daughters, I don't want the prayer, man. I'm gonna need you to keep the prayer for yourself, okay? You keep that prayer because well, clearly it ain't working, okay? So you guys, free yourself, okay? Understand that, you know, it's not because you are merely related to someone by blood that they're your family, okay? Family is anybody who cares about you. People who call sometimes just to check on you. People who call just to check on your kids, okay? People who you could reach out to back when you were in college to give you $20, you know, if they had $20 to spare for groceries. That is family, okay? People you can rely on, not people who only need to call you when they need money, only call you when they need somebody to drive them somewhere, and you have to drive them around all the time, and you know they never give you no gas money, or people who always reach out to you to take care of their kids. Okay, listen, you is not a babysitter, okay? You is not a babysitter service. I mean, if you're child free, you know, you've been diligent about that, you've been careful with your womb, okay? That's not so that you can take care of, you know, the 3 children of God knows who, okay? Tell XYZ to, you know, there are many babysitting service online. You should reach out to one of them, okay? I mean, she won't, because she's gonna have to pay money, but that's not your business, okay? It's not your job, it's not your duty to do that, okay? You don't have to save everybody. That's not your job. You were not put here on earth to be of service to other people. I mean, we're all here to serve, but you know, not in that way. We were not put on earth to be abused, okay, financially or emotionally by anybody. We are not people's emotional toilet bowl, okay? We are not people, you know, people don't get to call us simply because they're male related by us to just pass their nerves on us if they have problems or whatever. That's not how this thing works, okay? So I just wanted to encourage you guys this holiday season, choose yourself. It's not selfish to choose yourself, you guys. You don't owe somebody anything merely because you're related to them. Now, I know that some of you guys may not agree with this, but as a matter of fact, you don't owe even your parents anything. I mean, you didn't ask them for this life. You know, I'm yet to see any child knock on the mother's belly and say, hey, ma'am, can you bring me into the world? Okay, we didn't ask for this life. Now, I mean, we're grateful for it, you know, for the most part, but we didn't ask for it. So we don't owe the people who brought us into this world anything. So stop letting your parents like guilt trip you, you know, into taking care of them, buying them a house, whatever, because they give birth to you. Okay, let them know you didn't ask them for this life. Okay, sometimes they need a reminder. It is what it is, okay? Now, again, this may be harsh for some, but I said what I said, and that's on Mary and the Lamb, okay? Listen, here's the thing that I want you guys to consider, especially if you are somebody who, you know, struggle with family members that, you know, kind of hate you, you know, they don't really like you, but they always want to use you, you know, for money and stuff like that. I have a lot of you guys email me about this. Why does my sister hate me? You know, for the most unfortunate of you guys that have narcissistic mothers who are in competition with you, mothers who are envious of your youth and beauty, you know, this can be very, very disheartening. My heart goes out to you if you're in this situation, you know. I mean, it's just a tumultuous relationship with any relative can be difficult, but especially a mother, because, you know, they carried us right 9 months in the tummy and stuff. So I can imagine that it can be very, very difficult to have to deal with that. But what you need to understand in order to cope with that is that your relatives are human first. Okay, this is very hard for us to accept because, you know, when we are children, we see our parents as these superhumans, right? We see them as these people who know everything, who have every right, right? You know, when you are 2, when you are 4, because, you know, when you are a child, you think like a child, you know, you understand like a child. But it's very, very important as you are growing. You know, my analytics show that most of you guys are 24, to understand that, you know, your parents are merely human beings. You know, they're just doing their best. They're not perfect. They don't know everything. They don't have all the answers. You know, that's something I tell my 12 years old all the time. I really emphasize to her the fact that mommy doesn't know everything. I don't know everything, you know. So this is really important. And when I say they are human first, what I mean by that is that they are capable of understanding, you know, or experiencing rather, sorry, every human emotion that other people can experience, right? Like, and this is not me making an excuse for, you know, whatever they did. It's just explaining potentially why they did it or why they feel the way that they feel towards you, right? They are human first. So if your sister is a human being, then she's definitely capable of experiencing envy the same way any other human is capable of experiencing envy, right? I mean, she's part of the 8 billion human beings, and she will experience or can experience all the emotion that the 8 million human beings can experience, or billion rather. Right, so once you understand this, and this is very, very hard to grasp and very, very hard to accept, but once you accept this, it's going to be much easier to deal with your relatives, because this will humanize them in a way, you know, and not put them on this pedestal that, you know, they don't deserve to be on, you know, to begin with, right? I mean, it is what it is. So I really wanted to remind you guys of this. Okay, remember that, you know, family doesn't gaslight each other. So if you're just gonna go to the Thanksgiving dinner and have to sit across the uncle that molested you when you were a child, trigger warning, and, you know, if you have the bad luck to bring it up, right, just have everybody else gaslight you and say, I don't understand why you would talk about this, you always want to spoil the mood and whatever, like, that's crazy. Like, why would you go and celebrate, you know, on a day where you are supposed to be grateful, with people who are just going to invalidate your feelings, people who make you feel like something is wrong with you, that you are the one who's always tearing the pot, you are the one who's always bringing up this thing. I mean, why can't you forgive? Why can't you let go? I mean, that's crazy. That would just re-traumatize you. It's not your job to keep your family dirty secret. Let me say that again. It is not your job to keep your family dirty secret. Okay, this has to stop. The Black community needs to stop doing this. Listen, if people don't want their business out there, they shouldn't do disgusting things, period. Anyone who does something to me is risking, you know, the fact that I will come out here on YouTube, Instagram, wherever, and say whatever the F I want, okay? Because this is my story too. If you don't want me to talk about it, then hey, you shouldn't have done it, okay? And that's on Mary and the Lame, okay? So I just wanted to encourage you guys to be able to say no. Understand no is a complete sentence. Don't feel the need to explain and re-explain yourself. Once you say no, just cut the contact. You don't have to, you know, go back. I remember this time last year, now I was very, very surprised by this email, because by this time last year, most people who emailed me just emailed me, you know, about a rhinoplasty, a plastic surgeon, right? But I remember someone emailed me by this time last year talking to me about how her family had invited her to come and celebrate with them. She talked about her backstory, how, you know, she grew up in a very, very toxic family. Let's call her, I don't know, Jane, okay, Jane Doe for you know, video purposes. And she talked about how, you know, they grew up in the hood, very, very impoverished family, and the whole environment was very toxic. Her mother had like 9 children from different fathers. None of the men was around. They were on food stamp. They live, you know, in an apartment by the government and stuff like that. It was very, very like hard, okay? And she was one of the only person in her sibling group that made it, okay? She went to university, and, you know, she studied in STEMs, and she came out to have a very, very good job. You know, she was making 200,000, and she was very, very young by the time, you know, like probably like 27, 28, right? Already making $200,000, which is a lot of money. And her family didn't know exactly how much she was making, but, you know, they knew the company she was working for, and they knew she had, you know, quite a lot of money. And they would always come to her for chicken change, okay? They would always come to her for change, for money. They always needed something. They wanted her to co-sign on cars and apartments, which you are never, never, never to do for anybody, okay? Except they're your kids. And even then, you know, if your child is addicted to crack or something, still don't do it, okay? And actually know someone who lost their mortgage because they did this. Anyways, so you know, at some point she was just so fed up with them that she moved cross state, okay? She moved cross country. Luckily for her, you know, the company she was working for also had offices there, so she moved there. She cut all contact with them cold turkey, and it was like that for, you know, a couple of years, you know, 1.5 2 years, I don't recall, right? And then they contacted her again. They wanted to invite her, they wanted to for her to come and celebrate with them. It was around this time, like I said, Thanksgiving and stuff like that. And you know, one thing that no one tells you about cutting off sperms, as someone who cut out, you know, my sperm donor, I wish I could talk to him and say, you know, about him as a father, but really he is more of a sperm donor, right? I know how hard it can be to cut out a family member. It's very, very easily said, right? You know, I'm the first one to say, you know, cut them off, da 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 da. But the reality of cutting, you know, a relative off is more complex than, you know, just the blah blah, okay? Like, you know, you do miss them, you do still mourn the relationship at times, you do still, you know, have feelings for them. It's a very complex thing. It's not easy, right? That's why I always recommend, you know, going through therapy as well as you're going through this process. Anyways, you know, they caught her in a weak moment, and she saw the email because that was the only way they could contact her. You know, she had cut all contact with them. I think they got her email through the company she was working for or something like that. Long story short, she decided to go, right? She had talked to her therapist about it, and she said her therapist, you know, as she consulted with her therapist advised her not to go, but she decided against it regardless. And as she was on the way, again, you guys, she had to drive like very many hours, you know, like I think something like 9 hours to get to where they were. So she decided, you know, she would leave a day before and then, you know, drive like 4 or 5 hours, sleep somewhere, you know, in a nice hotel, and then she would make her way there the next day, right? So as the next morning after she slept in the hotel, as she was on her way there, so almost there, probably 1.5 hours away from them, her sister called, right? Because she had given her her number per email and stuff, and her sister asked her if she could bring this, if she could bring that, if she could bring the third, and her sister said it was only fair since she was not baking anything. Now keep in mind, she could not bake anything and bring it with because she had so many hours to do, right? And basically they just want to use her, right? Like they were not interested in actually, you know, doing their amends and, you know, apologizing to her, you know, doing their dues and really recognize how they were wrong and how they were toxic and how they tried to use her and really financially abuse her. All they wanted is, you know, for her to come back and start rolling the lifestyles again. You know, they had this long list of everything she had to purchase for the Thanksgiving dinner, because like I said, like they said, she couldn't bake anything and bring it with, so they wanted her to bring all this stuff, and they said it's only fair since then we are going to be the one cooking it and blah 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 blah. If you ask me, just a bunch of horseshit. Sorry you guys, I'm heated, right? So, you know, luckily she, you know, contacted her therapist, you know, right there and then she just decided against it. She decided, you know what, I don't want to do this again. Of course it was very painful. I mean, here she is in the middle of the highway crying at some gas station and having to go back all the way. Crazy, right? They had all this list of demands. I think her sister even asked if you could grab this and that and the third for her kids, because, you know, they wasn't sure if she would come for Christmas. You guys, you can't make this up, okay? Like some of these families out here, relatives, they're just a gift that keeps on giving, okay? Because really it keeps on taking, okay? So she wanted her to grab, you know, shoes for her kids and like crazy stuff. And keep in mind, she actually had in mind to do this. You know, she had said she actually wanted to do that. She wanted to come back for Christmas and then bring them gifts and stuff like that. But, you know, they were so money hungry that, you know, they couldn't even wait. You know, they couldn't even pretend. This is the thing I always say with takers, like, can't you even pretend to be decent? Can't you, like, you know, every second call just call and ask if I'm all right and how my daughter is, and then, you know, next time when you call, ask for little something, some change. I mean, you're more likely to get it. Like, not only are these people lazy, they're also dumb. Okay? Anyways, you guys, like, just crazy. So first of all, be mindful out here, because a lot of people are looking to use you, especially if you're the only person or the first person in your family to go to college or the first person in your family to do well or to marry well or whatever. But second of all, you know, choose yourself. This holiday season, you guys, choose peace. I know it can be lonely, I get it, but sometimes it's just not worth it. Okay, hang out with your family, it's just not worth the trouble at times. It's unfortunate, it's sad, I wish it wasn't like that, but it's sometimes it's just not worth, you know, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, it's not worth, you know, the trouble. It just ain't worth it. Okay, and on that note, I just want to say that I empathize with any of you guys who have a difficult relationship with their family tremendously, right? My heart goes out to you. I have, you know, a tumultuous relationship with several of my relatives, so I can really understand what you guys are going through. And yeah, my heart goes out to you. I hope you heal from the things you tell nobody about. Again, consider therapy, and yeah, I wish you well. My heart I will be with you in thoughts this Thanksgiving and this Christmas. I will put out a candle for you. Okay, you guys, thanks for watching. Do not forget to give the video a thumbs up if, you know, you found it helpful in any way, shape or form. In the community below, you know, let me know what are your top tips to deal with you know, being estranged with your family, I guess. And do not forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and I will talk to you guys on Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Bye guys.